So this is the agenda, and we're just going to start. So we're going to go straight into who is the CEO. Well, I am the CEO. My name is Dr. Adishola Cole. If we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So my name is Dr. Adishola Cole, and I am the CEO of Tritech Consulting Limited. A little bit about myself. I was born in Hackney. And then I lived in Birmingham up until the age of 11, where I lived with foster parents. At the age of 11, my parents decided to take me to Nigeria. And then in Nigeria, I went to Ifako International. So I completed my secondary education in Ifako. And then I went to LASU, where I studied literature in English. After my dissertation, I came back to the UK. And within the UK, I started to do a lot of odd jobs. So I used to work as a cleaner, cleaning hotels, from the Savoy Hotel, the Thistle Hotel, and many other hotels as well, cleaning about 10 to 15 rooms a day. Then I used to work in a bakery, selling cakes, donuts, sandwiches, and everything else in between in Stamford Hill. And then I used to work for a gambling company called William Hill. And this is where people would come in and place their bets on football and horse racing and everything else. And then from there, I found my way in the bank, and I was in the bank for 10 years. So I used to work for NatWest Bank. I was a cashier, then a sales advisor, and then a bank manager, all within those 10 years. But there was a problem. And the problem was that my bank account was not smiling. So, when you're working endlessly, you're doing 9 to 5, 9 to 8, 10 to 5, you're hitting your sales targets, and you're really, really trying to work hard, which I'm sure some of you can relate to. But then the volume, okay. Guys, can you hear me properly? Someone said my volume is not loud. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. Okay, so yes, it was very, very frustrating, working round the clock and then paying my bills and having nothing left at the end of the month. I'm sure some of you are in that situation right now. That was number one. Number two, the environment where I was overshadowed with work politics. So, when you have a lot of ideas and you want to, feel among, but it's like your face doesn't fit, number one. And number two, you're not given the opportunity. So I was really, really frustrated, always calling in sick, always rebelling, challenging everything that they came up with because I was just miserable in my job. So I was speaking to a friend of mine. When you go home, you moan and you complain to your friends or your husband or your wife or your family, etc. So I would moan all the time. And then a very good friend of mine said to me, why don't you try and get into project management and business analysis? And the rest is history. So in 2014, I remember I'd had baby number 2. So I have 3 amazing children. 2014, I joined a tech company similar to what I now run. And I was able to get my success story in 4 months. So that was how I transitioned into tech. So how did Tritech come about? Within that company where I got my success story, I stayed on as a mentor. And that was when I realized that I had a passion for mentorship. I would mentor a lot of candidates within that company, and they would get their success story. So I thought to myself, this is something that I realized that I enjoy doing. So in March 2017, I was pregnant with baby number 3. And I just thought to myself, you know what, let me just create something to get me by. I really didn't have a vision of, how big Tritech was going to become. It was just me testing the waters at that time. And we started off with just 2 candidates, March 2017. We had a little office in Tottenham. And obviously 2024, over 5,000 candidates on the platform and over 3,000 success stories to date. And these are some of the awards that we have won over the years. So Mentor of the Year within that company where I was a mentor, and that was in 2016. I received an award for Woman of the Year in 2018. Recipient of an award for youth empowerment in 2020. Again, I received the award for Woman of the Year in 2022, a Rotary Recognition Award in 2022, Emerging CEO of the Year 2022, an African Achievers Legacy Award at the House of Parliament 2022, a Global Excellence Outstanding Woman in Tech Award 2023. In February 2023, we featured in Forbes Africa, where I did an interview about helping and impacting the Black community in particular. Featured as the top 100 most impactful people 2023, and also top 100 influential global voices in Africa 2024. So it's a very, very proud moment for myself and my team, from, you know, cleaning hotels to selling donuts to working in the bookies to being miserable in the bank, and now a multi-award-winning entrepreneur. So it's something I'm very, very proud of. And if there's anything I will say to any of you on this call right now, if you don't try it, you're not sure, or you will never know if it's going to be successful or not. I remember when I started TriTech, I was really, really nervous. I didn't have any confidence in me, but it was the best decision that I made. So please, test it, whatever idea you have, whatever decision you want to make, whatever steps you want to make, just try it. You might pass, you might fail, but it's better than not trying at all. Next slide, please. So, some really, really amazing moments this year for TriTech. I was featured or attended rather the House of Parliament a few months ago, where I delivered an amazing session on artificial intelligence. So that is me on the left-hand side, very, very obvious where I am, but this was a few months ago. This is me in the center, always the shortest, always the shortest. But this was me with the former Minister of State for Business and Trade. He had a book signing and I attended that event. And then again, me, the shortest again, on the right-hand side, I had the opportunity to deliver a session on cybersecurity with the Security Minister, Tom Tugendhat, a few months ago. So these were all in 2024 with myself and my amazing team. Next slide. So I'm just laughing because I'm always the shortest. So yeah. Okay, so why is it difficult for many of you to, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So why is it difficult for many of you to transition into tech? And I think I really want to have a feel for everyone on the call. So if you've tried to transition into tech and it hasn't worked, just put me in the chat. So just ME me. You've tried, you've done self-studying, or you've gone elsewhere, or, you know, whatever the case might be. Oops, sorry, guys. I just want to know in the chat. Okay, okay. So you've tried and you failed. Okay. Or perhaps you're trying. Okay, there's a challenge somewhere, and we're going to talk about that now. Okay, so I can see that the majority of you on this call have tried, and you've not gotten there just yet. So let's have a look at these problems that we've identified from many of the candidates who come on the platform, and I need an interaction. Can we just keep an eye on the chat? Guys, can we be positive? Please. It's been a long day. Let's try and be positive. Thank you. Okay, so 75% of many candidates who want to transition into tech do not have the right or relevant skills and experience. Now, what's interesting about tech is that regardless of what you're doing currently, so whether you're a care worker, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a lawyer, there are aspects of those tech skills that you're already doing that you don't know about? So how many of you on this call in your current professions are dealing with people? You're dealing with people every day. You're having to communicate every day. You're having to solve problems every day. You're having to have meetings every day. You're having to negotiate with a client or a customer every day. Now, guess what? In the tech world that you want to transition into, 60–70% of what you're going to be doing is just that. So when we're talking about relevant skills, it's not coding or knowledge of Excel or knowledge of mathematics, which is what a lot of you think tech is all about. But tech is actually around your soft skills, your communication skills, your people skills, your problem solving skills, your negotiation skills, the ability to plan a project effectively from A to Z. And I always say to people that if you can manage a family, right, you can manage your home, or a simple thing like planning a holiday with your friends or planning a birthday or an event, effectively, you are already doing the role of a project manager or a business analyst, but you just don't know it. So 75% of recruiters prioritize skills over certification. So that's interesting to know. But like I highlighted, a lot of what you're doing right now, you can bring into the tech space. So let's have a look at another problem that we identify: insufficient experience. Back in the day, 10 years ago, when I transitioned into tech, yes, it was all about Prince 2 and your Agile and your BA certificates and this and that. And, it was a good thing. And I'm not saying that certifications are a bad thing right now, but it's important to have a healthy balance of both. Do we agree or disagree? Let me know in the chat. So if you've done your Prince 2 and you've done your Agile, or you've done your PhD, or you're studying for your PMP and all of that, that's fantastic. But it's equally important to have that experience to back it up. When you go for an interview, the interviewer might ask you about the certificates that you have. That's fantastic. But what they're really, really, really focusing on is the how. What type of projects have you worked on? What kind of stakeholders have you dealt with? How did you manage a difficult or challenging stakeholder? Give me examples of tools that you have used. So it's all about show me and tell me, as opposed to what's on a piece of paper. Because I don't want to hire someone that has 10 certificates, but then they're not able to deliver when it comes to the practical element of the project. So insufficient experience is another challenge for many of our candidates. And 86% of CEOs prefer candidates with experience over those with just certifications. So if you're still adamant that you want to get your certificate, that is absolutely fine. But also remember that the experience is paramount and is critical in order for you to get your job. Okay, another problem that we highlight is imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is where you feel guilty about the knowledge and the skills that you have. So I'll give you an example. For some of you perhaps that have come from Nigeria and you've relocated to the UK, I know that for a lot of you back home, you were engineers, you were doctors, you were doing, those high professional jobs. And now perhaps you've come to the UK and you're doing care and you're doing cleaning. I've been there, right? So are there any of you on the call that are in that situation? You had a really, really good job back home and you've had to leave all of that to come to the UK and, humble yourself. Now, for many of you, even though you know what you're capable of doing, there's something in the back of your mind that discourages you, where you feel like, how am I going to use those skills that I had back home and now get a job here? My accent, is that going to be a problem? I know that I'm capable because I know what I was doing back home, for example, but I don't have the confidence, or you feel guilty. Maybe you're a doctor or you've done your PhD. I'm just trying to think of, relatable examples that I know a lot of you are going through right now. Imposter syndrome will make you doubt yourself. Imposter syndrome will deter you from making that all-important decision to go to the next step. Alera has talked about accent. Even that, some of you, you lack that confidence because you think you have an accent. That is another example of imposter syndrome. Even I go through imposter syndrome sometimes, where you feel guilty about your accomplishments. People make you feel like a fraud. You know you're capable, you know what you can do, but there's something preventing you from going to the next level. Are any of you in that situation at the moment? Let me know in the chat. And whilst I'm waiting, let's have a look at this data. 70% of workers report experiencing imposter syndrome at some point in their careers. And that is what's stopping so many of you from going to the next level. You're comfortable doing cleaning or care, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you're stuck in your bubble and you're scared to take that next step. So it's something that a lot of the candidates and a lot of you also need to work on. And then finally, whilst we're talking about the problem, a mismatch between skills and industry needs. And what we mean essentially is that tech is ever evolving. Tech is highly innovative, right? So what I was doing in tech 10 years ago is different to what's happening in tech right now. And it's very, very important that you keep abreast of any upcoming trends within the tech space. So every year there's something new and there's an upcoming trend that everybody jumps on. So for example, for this year, who can remind me, or tell me rather, what the biggest trend is in the tech space? It's all around us. You log AI, fantastic. So AI is huge at the moment. I think that AI will be around for quite a while. But yes, so it just shows that you need to ensure that even when you get into the tech space, you are not complacent. You have an open mind and you're constantly evolving, studying, and making sure that you're on par with any current trend within the tech space itself. So we've talked about lack of relevant skills. We've talked about imposter syndrome. We've talked about insufficient experience. And then we've also talked about a mismatch between skills and industry needs. So in the chat, I would like for you to highlight which of these problems you're facing right now. So tech is all about data. So for me, I like to gather as much data as possible. So in the chat, if it's all of them, just say all. But let me know, is it imposter? So a lot of you are saying it's imposter syndrome. Wow. So I think it's a big problem. That's something that I've realized. Yeah, it's huge. So that's interesting. Okay. Let's have a look at the next slide whilst that's going on. So why is transitioning into tech the right move for you? Financial growth. So yes, I will confidently say that many of us that have, made that decision to get into tech live a very, very comfortable lifestyle. I'm sure there are some of you on this call that have family and friends in tech, and you can say that, they're doing rather well. But, financial freedom, which I think is so important, the ability to pay your rent or your mortgage and your bills, and then still have money left over for holidays or buying your first house or buying a nice car or looking good, and all of those things in between. So can anyone relate? Financial growth? Yes, so that's one reason why you need to get into the tech space. Number two, a work-life balance. So how many of you on this call are doing shift work at the moment? 10 to 10, 12 to 12. Um, you want more money, so therefore you're having to work around the clock. Yeah? Now, guess what? In the tech space, yes, there will be challenging moments, but a lot of the time, there's a work-life balance where sometimes you're working from home. You're able to have that flexibility, which enables you to spend time with your family and have time for yourself. And then mentally as well, having that mental freedom, etc., etc. So a work-life balance is really, really important. And I know for many of you doing, long hours, I'm sure that is something that you would want, where you're able to come home from work and you're able to spend time on yourself, your family, your nearest and your dearest, and so on and so forth. So it's very important. And the tech space gives you the opportunity to do just that. Also, in the tech industry, you're able to transition quite easily. So remember my story where I was in the bank. I worked as a cashier for about 3 years, and then an advisor another 3 years, and so on and so forth. Within the tech space, you can get a job as either a project manager or as a business analyst, and then after a couple of months, go into the role of a UX designer or decide, you know what, I'm going to go into the role of a scrum master. So it gives you that flexibility and freedom to transition from one role to another. Or perhaps you want more money, you want a pay rise, you're not going to have to wait for the manager. You can look for another role and easily move around. And then the final one, which I think is very, very important, is personal growth and development for yourself, and also the ability to help those around you. So you'll find that many of us in tech, once we get our job, we're mentoring others, we're impacting others, and we're empowering others as well. So imagine you're a cleaner, and then you're going to call your colleagues and tell them, guess what? I've got a job in tech. Yeah, isn't that a dream come true? And then it's going to motivate everyone around you who is, doing that cleaning job with you, because they're thinking, okay, if Ade can do it, and that means that I can do it as well. So tech is very, very rewarding. Financial growth, work-life balance, easy transition, and personal growth and impacting your community. It's very, very essential. Next slide, please. I think we're going to bring on Gabby in a moment. So Gabby, please get ready. Okay, so in TriTech, we have a 10-step process. It's a strategy, a proven strategy that many of our candidates use, and then they're able to get their success stories. Do any of you know any TriTech candidates who, have come through the process and they're currently working as techies? They've gotten their success story. Do let me know in the chat. Yes. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Good. So someone said no, that's fine. But yeah, that's interesting. That's good to know as well. So let's have a look at this process right here. And this clearly highlights what happens from when you join TriTech to when you get your success story. So Kelechi, so sorry. Yes, I do. And that's why I'm here today. That even motivates me myself, just reading this. Okay, so step one, TDL. So TDL is, who can guess? Any guesses what TDL stands for? It used to be called LMS. And then we had a bit of a rebrand because we wanted it to be personal to TriTech. TriTech Digital Library. Well done, John. So, when you go to a library and you have all kinds of resources accessible to you, that is what TDL is all about. So think of your Netflix, when you go onto your Netflix and you've got, different movies, your Nollywood, your whatever, all on the screen. That is what TDL is all about. TDL is not your learning. Your learning is going to be live and your training is going to be live. But as the name implies, it's your library. So within TDL, there are videos on, for example, AI. There are videos on emotional intelligence. There are videos on cybersecurity. There are videos on how to use ChatGPT. So it's not your curriculum for your training, but it's an additional resource to help you along the way. So that's step one. Step two, hybrid training. So in TriTech, we train you in both project management and also business analysis. So you're getting two for the price of one. But any guesses why we do this? So why do you think we train you in both? Let me know in the chat. So you're coming on the platform and you're getting trained in both project management and also business analysis. But there's a reason why we do this. More options, yes. They work hand in hand with each other, yes. For an intensive understanding, you can get a job in any, so people can have options, absolutely. Can't they work separately? They can in the real world, but in TriTech, we combine both. But I'm going to explain, so don't worry. So, what you will find is, first and foremost, there are a lot of you on this call who are perhaps not sure whether you're more of a project manager or more of a business analyst. You've heard about it. Perhaps you have family and friends that are doing it, but for yourself, you're not sure whether you're more of a project manager or more of a business analyst. In actual fact, some of you might think that you're project managers and in actual fact, you're more of BAs and vice versa. So if you're in that league, let me know in the chat if you can relate, where you're confused, you're not sure what you are. You've just heard about it, but you don't know which one you can relate to. So that's number one. Number two, nowadays, a lot of companies are looking to do what? Cut costs and save money. So therefore, it makes sense for them to hire someone that has knowledge and experience in both project management and also business analysis. So we could actually hire you as a project manager. However, we've seen that you've got business analysis experience, and therefore I'm going to hire you because that's me saving money and using that to my advantage in the company. Yeah. So that's number two. Number three, I know for many of you, you're adamant which one you want to focus on. I want to be a project manager. I want to be a business analyst, and that's absolutely fine. But even if you get a job as a project manager, it's very, very important that you understand what the BAs are doing, because at the end of the day, you are the one that's going to manage them. Am I making sense, guys? And then for the BAs in the house, sometimes you might have to step in for the project manager, or you're working in a project environment and you still need to understand project management terminologies, okay? So for me, I would advise that, focus on hybrid. And essentially, when you're then focusing on the work experience, you can then decide, you know what, I just want to focus on a project manager role. I just want to focus on a BA role, or I just want to be hybrid, okay? So it's very, very important that in TriTech, we give you training in everything, and then you can make an informed decision. So that is step two. Step three is a little assessment that you would do on TDL. And that assessment is to help you and guide you in regards to your learning journey. So based on the answers that you give, it's all AI infused. So AI will give you a prediction and AI will guide you on, the answers that you've not answered correctly, and that guides you on things that you need to work on your learning journey itself. Step four is practical work experience. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to excel in the tech world and you want to get your job and keep your job, it's important that you have real work experience. So we get many candidates who, it's easy to pass an interview. Yeah, you're speaking the lingo, you're speaking the language that they understand. But then it's one thing to get the job, and it's another thing to keep that job as well. So in TriTech, we give you real practical experience where you're going to be working on digital projects with other candidates from all over the world. We have all our software developers in Nigeria, so you'd be working with a software developer who would build whatever project you're working on, whether it's an app or an AI project or a cybersecurity project. The practical element is essential in this journey. The work experience is for 3 to 4 months, and training is for 7 days. And I'm going to talk about the timetable, in a moment. It's a timetable, okay. Steps 6, 7, and 8 are all interrelated with each other. So this is where we have regular career coaching sessions, knowledge sharing sessions, and mentorship sessions that everybody joins. Sorry, 5, 6, and 7. It's been a long day. So 5, 6, and 7 are all related with each other. So everybody joins these sessions in TriTech. So it can be a session on, how to prepare for an interview. It could be a session on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So these are regular knowledge sharing sessions that everybody joins on the platform. Step 8 is for when you have an interview. Okay, so we know that nobody likes going for interviews. I mean, if you do, give me a yes in the chat. But I know for many of you, it's a scary experience, right? So how many of you have attempted to go for an interview? You've attempted, and yeah. So back in the day, and I know I sound really, really old when I say this, right? You would go for an interview. So someone said they love interviews, and that's confident speaking right there. So well done. But then back in the day, it was like, tell me about Prince 2. What's the definition of agile? What's the definition of a stakeholder? But now when you go for interviews, you need to do presentations. Normally it's about 3 to 4 stages. You need to be able to do case studies. So they want you to, it's called show me, tell me, okay? So you're going for an interview and you need to be able to show any examples that you're given during that interview. So Adiola, for example, in the chat, she said, or he said, I have done 7 interviews and not one has been successful. Yeah. So we're going to help you with that. So our job is to ensure that if you have an interview lined up, we would provide a mentor to guide you and support you through that interview process. Isn't that fantastic? Step 9 is referencing. So TriTech is the training company. And then when it comes to the work experience, we have digital companies that you would be working for. And that is where you would get your referencing, because what you're doing is real consulting experience. And then, of course, step 10 is where you would join the alumni platform after you have secured your success story. So this is the process from steps 1 to 10. And I would like for you to pick your favorite. So from steps 1 to 10, pick a number. Which one stands out for you, or which one interests you the most? Step 9 is your success story. Ultimately, this is where we want everyone to be, right? Getting your success story. We've seen the work that you've done, and we're happy to give you a reference because you've done real consulting experience. So a lot of you are picking step 9. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. 1, 2, 4. Okay, let's have a look at the next slide. So another fantastic thing about TriTech is after the work experience, which is for 3 to 4 months, you would then be passed on to any of these lovely gentlemen. These are our in-house career coaches, and they will spend 4 weeks with you, preparing you for the job market. So after you've done the experience with TriTech, we know that it's really daunting, and you're probably thinking, okay, I've done the training, I've done the experience, but what's next? So these guys would spend 4 weeks with you, and their job is to help you overcome imposter syndrome, help you develop more confidence, guide and support you with applying for jobs and things that you need to do to search for jobs, HR strategies, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and so on and so forth. So we have Samuel Akinlotan, Abayomi Ishmael, and Adeyimika Balogun, who have been with us for over a year, and they're doing fantastic in their different careers. So you would spend 4 weeks with any of them after you've completed your practical work experience. Next slide, please. Also, we have regular immigration sessions for those of you perhaps needing guidance on the status of your visa. Maybe you want to switch from care to tech, or, any question at all that we are not able to answer. We have our very own immigration advisor, Sir Daberici. So he has monthly sessions with everybody in TriTech, and it's an opportunity to ask all of those questions that I would not be able to answer, and my team as well. So this is what he does as his profession, and therefore he is on standby to help and guide you with all your immigration needs. Next slide. So this is something that we've just added, LinkedIn optimization. So we added this, I think, 3 months ago. And what this means essentially is the moment you have completed your training, training is for 7 days, but we're trying to wrap up the training before Christmas. So I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So we've just introduced this, which is a new feature when you join us, and that's LinkedIn optimization. So the moment you've completed your work experience, we would be the ones to help you optimize your LinkedIn profile on a one-to-one basis, providing you have done the work that you need to do. So this is absolutely fantastic for those of you that perhaps you've got a LinkedIn profile or you don't, or it's not showcasing what it's meant to showcase in order to help you transition into tech. Next slide. Okay, so training dates and times. So normally training would be on Saturdays, right? Although next year I am introducing evening classes. Okay, so I know a lot of candidates, they work on Saturdays. So in the new year, we are introducing weekday evening classes. So this is what your timetable would look like for those of you looking to join us today. Training would commence on the 5th of December, and training would end on the 14th of December. And we're doing this because, yes, all the training is online. And we're doing this because we want to wrap up the training before Christmas. However, for some of you, you might decide to secure the offer and then start the training in the new year. So this is optional, but for those of you joining today and perhaps you want to just complete the training this year, this is what the timetable would look like, okay? So classes would be from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the days stipulated, okay? And this will be also shown to you. If you miss a class, all of the training sessions are already recorded, and I'm going to show you that very, very shortly. Let's go to the next slide. You also get a certificate of achievement once you have completed our program. So it would have your name and also the type of project that you worked on. So is it a cybersecurity project, an AI project, a robotic process automation project, whatever it is, as soon as you've completed the program, you would get this lovely certificate. Next slide. So these are some of the tools. Obviously, when you're doing the work experience, it's important that you know how to use all of the tools as well. So we would ensure that, you're getting that practical experience not just working on the project, but also knowing how to use the tools as well. The timetable won't, okay, so some of you work night shifts. I appreciate that. So the only other option that you have is to wait until the new year, where you could have access to TDL and then start your training in the new year, where we would have the Saturday training. We're only doing this because we want you to complete your training before Christmas, okay? So these are some of the tools: Basecamp, Balsamic, Lucidchart, and of course Zoom for your live training as well. Okay, next slide. So before we look at TDL, I'm conscious of time and I really want Gabby to spare a few minutes because I know he probably has had a long day and a busy one. So can we just get Gabby on very, very quickly? And then I will talk about TDL.
Hi, Ade. You all right?
Hi,
Hi.
Gabby.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me tonight. Yeah, it's a privilege to be here, you know, and to see how much TriTech's growing, rightly so as well. But may I add, but yeah, I guess the purpose of why I'm here is just to talk a bit about my story and I guess maybe shed some, you know, words of wisdom, if you want to call it that. But yeah, just a bit about me. My name's Gabriel. I'm 27 years of age, if you want to talk about age. I like to hope that I'm still young.
Very young. Wow.
Yeah, I'm married. I've got a child, and yeah, I've got a place as well that I've bought with my missus. But yeah, just to talk about my journey with TriTech. So I actually got recommended TriTech by a friend. This was in around 2020, and I didn't know anything about project management, so I had no clue at all. So I was walking into this thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Because prior to that, I was working in retail, and then before that as well, I played football. Well, most of my life. So this was a completely new sort of industry, new sort of environment to me. So I was really confused on what to do. But when my friend handed me over to Dr. Adeshola Cole, I called her and I spoke to her and I said to Ade that I don't know what to do. I want to jump on this course, but what do I do? And me and Ade had a nice conversation, and she later discovered that I think you should do PM. PM suits you, and maybe it was the vibe that I gave to Ade, which is why she led it into being a PM. And I'll talk about why later on in the story. But I didn't waste time. Someone like me is when I'm invested into something and when I like something, I just go full on in it, and I basically put all my eggs in one basket, and that's exactly what I did. So I started in 2020 and I joined on a project called Project Supreme with a lovely bunch of people. And I was assigned as a PM, and I didn't know what to do because like I later discovered that I'm in a team full of people that were just like clashing left, right, and center, but they were all really skilled. But I guess because of my people skills, I was able to like deflate situations and calm people down and actually just have like one-to-ones with people. And you'll later discover that in a project environment, even though you're a project manager, it doesn't mean that you're above everyone. You have to understand that when you work on a project, you're working as a team. So if one of your team member fails, you all fail. But if you succeed together. So that's why it's a joint effort when you're working on a project. And that's what I did with Project Supreme. No man was left behind. Anyone that felt that they wasn't involved, anyone that felt that they were not getting enough out of the sessions, then would make sure that we communicate with one another and work with one another. And that was the beauty of TriTech as well, because you had that support function there. And that's what I love TriTech mostly about. And not only that, but I heard you Ade talking about the LMS system. I know it's no longer called the LMS; it's now called TriTech
TDL.
Yeah, library, and that's another system that is amazing, and you should really take advantage of it. I heard some people saying that they can't start until next year because they work night shifts, but my suggestion and my advice to you would be to definitely make use of it, because it's something that I used a lot before I started. So then it helps you, while you're getting into being on your projects and being assigned to whatever it is you may be. And just to give you a bit of background about me, I was really trailblazing when I was on the TriTech course. So I joined, and I think my project lasted about 3 months or about 5 months, but we absolutely smashed it. 6 months later, I ended up getting my first role as a project manager. I actually got TriTech as well to get me to do a CV for me. They gave me the project management experience that I needed. And I didn't waste time. 6 months into TriTech, it was almost like a crash course for me. I got my first project management job, and I can actually boldly say now, from 2020 up until 2024, I've had 3 project management jobs. This is my 3rd project management position, and Ade's actually been there along the way. They've provided me the references. They've given me everything I needed, and they've seen the growth. They've seen the salary growth as well. So they've seen everything, and it's been a pleasure to work with TriTech and being a part of them, and with everything they've given to me. It's mostly because I was hard working. I didn't relent on my efforts, and what I need you guys to understand, and please, if there's anything that you take from this, is that if you are really serious about going into project management, being a business analyst, whatever it is that you are passionate about, just really focus on it. Be a trailblazer, work hard, don't complain, and just work with your team. Everyone is a team. When you're getting assigned to a project, you're all a team, and you are all one. No one is better than any other person, and no one is better than any other person. You'll later realize when you get into the working world that you need people in order for you to be successful. So as long as you have people on your side, you will be successful, because people will do things that you need them to do in order for your project to succeed. So please bear that in mind. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey. And as I talk to you guys now, I work for one of the biggest electricity distribution companies in the UK. So I've really been flying high now, and by the grace of God, it will continue to happen. But yeah, that's a bit about my story. And sorry I took so long, Ade, but I could talk for years.
I know.
TriTech's just been amazing. I've gone from knowing nothing to, I mean, I still need to learn a bit more, but I know so much thanks to TriTech, and it's just been amazing. It's worth every single penny. If anything, you sell it too short, Ade. You might need to increase the prices. Yeah, honestly.
Next year.
Next year, inflation costs.
But can I just say 27? Wait, did you say 27 or 37?
Yeah, 27. So I started TriTech at 23.
Ooh, an inspiration. Married, got a child, bought a house. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
No,
well done.
I'm really honored, and it's very humbling, to be able to be in this position, it's just, I remember the phone conversation we had that day was just like, you're going to do fine. You're going to smash it. Just be you. I have the skills, I have the qualities, because I'm more of an extroverted person. It's a really good way to be able to be a project manager and also lead. But again, it's about being a part of a team. So yeah, it's been amazing.
And I think the great thing about you, you listened. You were very, very humble.
Yeah.
You took on corrections, and you were focused.
Yeah.
You were focused.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And I loved it. And one of the other things, like I said, and I can't stress enough that it wasn't only just me. Like, the project success came because of the support system that TriTech had to offer, and also the people that I was working with. Like I said, there were a lot of conflicts, there were a lot of disagreements, but we were able to deflect the situation. I even had a situation where we had a really skilled person. You spoke about imposter syndrome. There was one person actually in our team that was amazing at organizing and getting things put together, putting meetings together and all of that, but she lost confidence in herself, and I took it upon myself to actually go out and reach out to her. This is out of hours, bearing in mind, to actually speak to her and just encourage her, and to really you know, get her to push on, you know, and she later on came back and she smashed it, you know. So it's amazing that, you know, you actually later realize that you become a family. It's almost like a family, because I used to work 9 to 6 and then come home 7 to 10. I'll be at Tritech. So like I'm already drained throughout the day, but then when I get home, I'm now having to work on my projects and speak to people in my team and everything, you know. So it was tiring, if I'm honest with you, but it was well worth it, you know. Nothing's easy, right?
Well done, Gabriel. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I know we're going to meet up soon when you're
Yeah.
in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And take care of yourself. And thank you so much. Thank
No,
you.
my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, so you know, thank you, special thank you to Gabriel. His success stories on Instagram and many other success stories are on there as well. So I'm going to run through TDL very quickly. We are doing okay-ish with time. Do not worry, we're wrapping up very shortly, and then I will announce the discount. But I want to show you TDL and why there's so much noise and reference around TDL. So when you're ready, David. So, oh, it's had a bit of a revamp. It looks quite different. So anyway, this is what TDL looks like, okay? It's mobile friendly, so you would be giving your login details and then you can download it as an app. So on TDL is everything pertaining to your learning. So on here, for example, you would have your training materials, you can do a personality test as well, and that gives you a guide on what to focus on. On here, you've got your timetable as well. So everything about your learning is on here. So just think, okay, where are my training materials? TDL. Where's my timetable? TDL, etc. But let's look at the videos, and I think that's what's really important. So remember that your actual training is live, but you have this additional resource to help you along the way. So you would have access to project management videos and also business analysis videos. But what I want us to look at are the topics, the juicy topics that we have on here. Can you expand it a little bit, please? Thank you. Okay, so on here, someone talked about the recordings of the training. So the training is live. However, there's a recorded version of the training already on TDL. Does everybody understand that? So the live training that you're going to have is already on here. Does everybody understand that? Yeah, and thank you. Okay, so let's have a look at other topics that we have on TDL. I'm trying to get them to expand it. Sorry, guys. Okay. We'll just manage it. So topics that we have on here include pitfalls in project management, scope management. We've got videos on that. We've got videos on project governance. We've got videos on MS Project on here as well. I really wish, can we try to expand it whilst we're going through it, please? Thank you. We've got videos on stakeholder management, how to manage your stakeholders. We've got videos on change management on here. We've got videos on understanding risks within a project environment. We've got videos on earned value management. So there's a lot of videos on here. We've even got videos on digital project management. Sorry, we're just going to have to manage this. I'm struggling a little bit. Digital transformation videos are on here as well. PMO videos are on here. We've got a lot of videos on Agile and Scrum also on here. We've got videos on how to be a great Scrum Master on here as well. We've got videos on GDPR, General Data Protection, a day in the life of a project manager. There's even videos on data on here. How to create a winning CV is on here as well. Interview preparation is also on here. We've got videos on, I think there's a video on Power BI as well. Keep going because of time. We've got videos on quality management, effective communication skills is also on here. Even how to use PowerPoint is also on here as well. Dealing with imposter syndrome is on here. Project governance is on here as well. How to use ChatGPT is also on here. Project costing, hybrid roles, everything is on here basically, okay? So these are just the project management videos. Let's have a look at the business analysis videos very, very quickly. Okay, so likewise, your training is going to be live, but also there's a recorded version of the training. But let's have a look at some of the topics that we've got under the business analysis section. We've got videos on, so you've got your training on here, introduction. Okay, I'm struggling to see this. So sorry, guys. Requirement gathering, requirement elicitation is on here. Process modeling is also on here as well. Software testing, we've even got videos on software testing. We've got videos on Scrum Master Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4 on here. How to create customer journeys is on here as well. How to create user journeys is also on here. How to use Microsoft DevOps for those of you that are very, very technical. We've got videos on strategy. We've got videos on agile. We've got videos on, like I talked about, Scrum Master Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. We've even got videos on cybersecurity on here. So here it is. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. So this is not even in your training. But yes, we've got videos on CV writing as well on here. Keep going because of time. We've got videos on how to be a great Scrum Master, also on here. How to use API, how to use data acquisition is on here as well. Robotic process automation, Part 1, Part 2. How to use data, so what do companies do with your data? So we've even got sessions on big data. We're coming up to the cost, do not worry. We've got videos on SQL for those of you that are very, very technical. Business intelligence is on here as well. So these are videos that we upload every month. And there's over 250 videos on here. So think of this as your dictionary, think of this as your library and your resource center. So we've even got videos on LinkedIn optimization, how to use ChatGPT to look for jobs, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is TDL in a nutshell, and it's included in your package. So let's go back to the slides. I'm sorry we're going over time just a little bit. I hope that I am forgiven. I'll blame it on Gabriel. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Normally I'm good with time. But yeah, we're gonna blame Gabriel for that. Thank you for forgiving me. So what I want to do very quickly, I think we have about 3 slides left, and then I'm going to announce the discount, okay? So we have started Black Friday today. So Black Friday has come early. So for those of you looking to join us, you're in for a very special treat. So very quickly, the role of a project manager. So the skills that you would need to possess as a project manager are negotiation skills, leadership skills, being able to lead by example, being able to communicate effectively, being able to have challenging conversations with your stakeholders, good attention to detail, you're very organized, you like things done in a certain way, you like to lead. I think I've talked about that already, but essentially those are the skills that you need to have as a project manager. And when it comes to the role of a project manager, you are responsible and accountable for ensuring that the project is completed within time and budget, and also ensuring that the project is of high quality. So a lot of what you're doing as a project manager is monitoring what everyone is doing. Your business analysts, your project coordinators, your software developers, your software testers, you are the one to lead all of them. So you are managing a cross-functional team. A cross-functional team is you having different team members with different skill sets that are needed to come together to ensure that the project is successful. It's also your job to ensure you're managing the budget and the timeline. It's your job to ensure that you are producing something that is of high quality. It's your job to ensure that you're managing any risks and issues. So any potential problems within the project, your job is to manage those problems so that they don't have a negative effect to the project. You're also updating your senior stakeholders. So you're doing what we call status updates, giving them updates on, targets or deliverables of actions that you've completed within the project itself. Nowadays, as a project manager, you are not just delegating, you're also getting involved in all of the tasks across board. And basically supporting the team as a whole. So you're leading, you're managing, you're controlling and ensuring that everyone is doing what they're doing, and also ensuring that the project is completed on time. Let's have a look at another role very, very quickly. So Kolapo, when you register, we would send you a link and that would have your login details to TDL. Admin, can we keep an eye on the chat? Thank you. Another role that you can go for is the role of a PMO analyst. A PMO analyst stands for a project management officer or a program management officer. Skills that you would need for this role is you have to be someone that has good attention to detail, highly organized, you're very meticulous, you like, you don't mind admin. So if you've got administrative skills, this is a very, very good role for you to go for. With this kind of role, it's all about governance and compliance. So if you come from a banking industry, insurance industry, PPIs, complaint handling, a legal industry or HR industry, this is a very, very good role for you to go for. All you're doing is, whilst the project manager is managing, monitoring, and making sure everyone is doing what they need to do, your job is to ensure that everyone is adhering to standards and policies and compliance, ensuring that everyone is dotting their I's and crossing their T's, ensuring that things are being uniform across board. You're putting standards in place and ensuring that those standards are being followed by the team. So your job is to give anyone a pat on the back or a slap on the wrist if they're not doing what they need to do. Yeah. So this is all about governance, compliance. Think of the role of a police officer. Okay. We know what their job is. And essentially that is your job as a PMO within the project environment. Let's have a look at another role very, very quickly. So the next one is the business analyst. For this type of role, skills that you need to be very analytical. You need to be very inquisitive. You need to be very innovative. You're someone that loves to analyze information. You're someone that likes to solve problems, okay? So this role is all about, identifying problems, not just identifying those problems, but also coming up with the strategy to improve those problems and then implementing that strategy as well. So essentially, as a business analyst, you are the solution provider and the problem solver. So your job is really to make recommendations on the right solution on the project that you're working on. So you're doing a lot of requirement gathering where you're asking the client a lot of open-ended questions to understand why they are creating this project. Is it to solve a problem? Is it to make more money? Is it to whatever the case might be? As a business analyst, that is your job. Your job is all about doing competitor analysis, continuous improvement. You're also the middleman between the technical team and the non-technical team, and understanding business requirements. So you're really the one that analyzes what is going on in the business so that you can sit down, analyze information, and then come up with the right solution to whatever that problem is within the business. Also, as a business analyst, a lot of data analysis. So analyzing simple data. For example, how many people visited my client's website? When they visited my client's website, how long were they on there for? Did they make a purchase, yes or no? Very, very simple data, but data that gives you the right information that you need to come up with the right solution. So for this role, you're someone that I like to say nosy. You love to ask questions. Why, when, how? You like to dig deeper to get information, and so on and so forth. So this is another role that you can go for. Next slide, please. We're wrapping up. So this is another one of our success stories. This is a case study. So this is Adijoke, a mother of 4 who transitioned from a care job into the role of a project manager. So she had no experience. The only experience that she had was working in care, but she came to TriTech. She was able to work on a live project. She was able to leave her care work and then transition into tech. And she's doing amazing things. And she also works for TriTech as well. So she's juggling a bit of everything. So this is just a case study, but because of time, I'm going to have to go to the next slide. So a guide to transitioning into tech. So this is based on what you're doing currently and where we think you might fit in. So at the top, you can see there are 3 roles: a project manager role, a business analyst role, and a PMO analyst role. And what you need to do is look for your profession underneath. So for example, for a project manager, we would advise that if you are a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, a sales manager, a delivery manager, you have retail experience, or even a chef, that you go for the role of a project manager. So do we have any doctors, teachers, chefs, retail, etc.? Just give me a hey in the chat. Essentially, this is what you should focus on, but remember that in TriTech, just have an open mind with everything. As a business analyst, if you are an engineer, again, a doctor, an accountant, a financial advisor, a scientist, a lecturer, or even a professor, again, give me a hey in the chat. And essentially what that means is that you could focus on the role of a business analyst, okay? So for example, an accountant, a lot of what you're dealing with is data. As an engineer, again, a lot of what you're doing or dealing with is data. So therefore, this is what we would advise, but this is just advice only. And for the PMOs in the house, if you come from a HR background, a legal background, a care background, so whether you're a care worker, care assistant, a quality analyst, you come from a compliance background or banking and PPI, just give me a hey in the chat. And what that means essentially is that it's easier for you to focus on the role of a PMO analyst. Care, there are certain processes that you need to do to become a care worker. Banking, we know banking is all about compliance and governance and data breaches and all of that. So essentially, we would advise that you focus on the role of a PMO. However, again, this is just advice only. What I would do is wrap up with this, announce the discount, and then stay on for any last minute questions, okay? So let me go to the next slide very, very quickly. Okay, so this is where we get to the juicy part. So this is where I'm now going to announce the discount. Like I said, I will stay on after for anyone that has any other questions that they need to ask. So typically, this is the fee for the training. You've got your project management training, you've got your business analysis training. We've just recently introduced AI training as well as part of your curriculum. Project planning training, practical work experience, access to TDL, mentorship, career coaching, immigration sessions for those of you that need it, your referencing and networking as well, okay? So 13 stages to the program itself, £1,200. But let's have a look at what we have in store at the moment. So first and foremost, for those of you that are looking to join us today, you get a free course. So you get either a Microsoft Office course or a UI UX course. So the one on the left is good for those of you that perhaps you're not proficient with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And UI UX is good for those of you that are very creative. So, you know, you want to understand how a mobile app is being built or how a website is being built, or, you know, your Snapchat, your Instagram, your WhatsApp. How did they design it? How did they put all those features together? So essentially, that is what a UI UX designer does. So you get to choose any of these courses for free when you sign up today. So let's have a look at the discount itself. So for a limited time only, this is going to be discounted from £1,200 to £650, which is, I believe, it's a very good discount. Guys, what do you think? Should we go a little bit lower? I mean, essentially, when you look at TDL and you look at what we're offering, it's a very, very robust package. But like I highlighted, it's Black Friday come early. So you guys are in for a shocker. So let's see the shocker. Let's see the shock factor. So for those of you, it's Black Friday, even though today is not Friday, but you get what we're talking about. So this is going to be discounted from £1,200 to £429. So £429 is everything that I've talked about. Your training, TDL, career workshops, your mentorship, your work experience, your LinkedIn optimization that we just included. Everything that I have talked about is included in this 429 deal because we are in Black Friday mode, okay? So all you need to do is this to secure this offer. So I think it's a good deal, £429. Your mobile phone costs more, and let me not bore you with the selling, okay? Next slide, please. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have a limited number of candidates that we are looking to take on as we are beginning to close for the Christmas break, okay? So the offer is £429. And there are numbers on the screen. I know some of you have spoken to members of the team already. So if you've saved their numbers, just text the word payments to any of these numbers or people that you're familiar with. So Adejoke or Lise, yes, Tosin. So it's everything. Your PM training, your BA training, AI is also included. Everything that I've talked about is included in this package. Yeah, it's too good to be true, right? So the numbers on the screen for full payment, 429, Adejoke, Olise, Shagun, and Kenny. So text the word payments and they would send you a link. You can do a transfer or you can use your debit card, credit card, whatever you're comfortable with. However, we only have 50 slots. So we're only taking on 50 candidates for this cohort until the new year, okay? And in the new year, our fees will be going up. Let's have a look at those of you that perhaps want to do installments. So this is for full payment. Text the word payment to any of the numbers on the screen. Alternatively, if you want to ensure you're part of the first 50, you can put your number in the chat if you're happy to do so. and sorry, there's a lot of noise outside. So sorry, guys. And a member of the team will be in touch. So if you'd rather put your number in the chat to ensure you're part of the first 50, you can do that. But let's look at installments very, very quickly. So for installment payments, you've got David. So you can text the word installment. You can do Klarna if you've got a Klarna account or ClearPay. We do accept that. Alternatively, you can do a minimum payment of £250, and then you would sign, I think it's a mandate, and then the balance would be taken in 4 weeks' time. So if you're doing installments, it's £499. £499. Text the word installment to the number on the screen. And then you can either use Klarna or ClearPay, or you do minimum payment $250, and then the balance would be taken in 4 weeks' time. So we've tried to, you know, make payments as flexible as possible. But 429, guys, what do we think about this deal? We are done, by the way. For those of you that perhaps you're tired or you're tired of my voice, I know I've been rambling on and on and on. So for those of you that need to go, you can log off because we've come to the end of the session. So I'm just staying on for those of you that have any questions. But yes, like I said, 429, less than £500 for a complete package. So sorry for those of you in Lagos, Ghana, or Africa as a whole. Let's have a look at what we have in store for you. So you've got Sonia, Divine, or Anita. Again, if you've spoken to these individuals in Nigeria, then just text the word payment. So you've got Sonia, her number is on the screen, Divine, and Anita. Once you text, send them a text message, they would call you and then send you the account details. The account details would be in my name. Adishola Cole, but it's a Nigerian account. Okay, so you've got Sonia, you've got Divine, and you've got Anita. Okay, so for those of you putting your numbers in the chat, the team would contact you from now. Hopefully it's not too late. But guys, what do we think about this discount? Juicy, sweet? Yes, I think it is. I think it's an amazing discount. Every month. No, we're not going lower, please. Don't do that. It's a wow. Come on, Reginald. I've tried, okay? I think this is the cheapest that we've done so far this year. I think so. But every year we try and do something that is reasonable. I don't want to say cheap because 429 is not cheap for everybody, yeah? But these are the numbers for those guys in Nigeria. David, can we go to the full payments? Thank you, Precious, for your honesty. Yeah. So in case you have forgotten, Reginald, what is included in the package? You've got your project management training, your business analysis training, TDL access. Yes, Grace, it's not cheap for everyone. Yeah. So the economy is not smiling right now. Frankie, no. Anyway, so 429 is your project management training and business analysis training. Then you get a free course. So you've got three courses for the price of one. Then you've got your practical work experience. Then you've got TDL, mentorship, career coaching, LinkedIn optimization. It's a complete full package. Okay. So we only have 50 openings for this cohort. Favor says she's ready. So if you want to do full payment, 429, installment 499. Yes, Ronald, we do Jira and Confluence. Yeah. So thank you so much, Precious. Oh, you're so welcome. Klarna, okay, Favor. So text the numbers on the screen or put your number in the chat. So for some of you, you might decide, let me just put my number in the chat to make sure I'm part of the first 50. And then that way we will capture your information. Yeah. Yes, we do Scrum Master training, but that will not be until the new year. We do Scrum Master, we do cyber, we do data as well. But the good news is that AI is also included in your training. So we've added that to your curriculum, which I think is fantastic, considering that the world is going AI. Okay. So Funke, no. Funke Teller. Oh, okay. I know a Fumi Teller. The name looks very familiar. Sorry, guys. Okay. So the session has ended, so that, you know, it's not like I'm just rambling on and on and on. And some of you probably want to go to bed, but I'm going to stay on for any last minute questions. Favor, do you have a question? Product management. Yes, we do. Angelina, so we actually had a session last Saturday on that. And I believe classes commence this Saturday. So you can drop your number and someone can give you a call, or you can text the numbers on the screen. Yeah. The mentorship is when you have an interview. So the mentorship is anytime there's an interview lined up, then we would provide you with mentorship. However, you have 9 months on the platform. I forgot to mention that. So when you join TriTech, it's 9 months, okay? So your TDL access is 9 months. Everything is for 9 months. It doesn't mean you have to wait 9 months to get your success story. Some people get their success story in 2 months. Some people, it takes a little bit longer, but you have a 9-month window. Yes, Itunu, we have success stories in Canada and America, and we have candidates who have gotten success stories in Nigeria on sponsorship, and they've been able to come to the UK. Yeah, we have. So I think that is around that. Any last minute questions? Yes, Itunu, it is. So it's an accredited CPT certified certificate of completion. It is. Sorry, I'm trying to read all the questions. There are questions on the Q&A unanswered. You have the theory. So Ronald, so we just do a full package. So it's entirely up to you, but we don't have a separate package just for the work experience. So you just need to know how to handle that. So the Saturday will work for me. So Favor, what you would need to do, so for some of you that talked about, you know, doing a lot of shift work and so on, what you can do is secure the offer and then defer your training till next year. So we do allow you to defer your training to when you're ready. In the new year, we would go back to Saturday training and still have evening classes as well. So from January, we will give you the option of either Saturdays or evening sessions. Okay. So 4 to 9 is just for tonight, and it's for the first 50 people. Okay. But then we will have another final session in December, and then that is it. So we're going to end this session in 1 minute, just 1 minute. I've not shared my number. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm coming in IT here and there, but want to switch domains. Can I get any closer session to tailor my needs? Steve, so this is probably a separate conversation that needs to be had so we can really understand what you want to do or how we can help you. That's his session. Okay, John, I've seen your message. Thank you. Oh, wow. I wish I could enroll a single mom with 3. God bless. Someday I wish to enroll. If you have the finance, please enroll. It's worth it. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go to the timetable because I can see a lot of you have asked about that. So can we quickly go to the timetable? So the reason why we've done this is, talk by no. The reason why we've done the timetable this way is because we want to get training completed before Christmas. David, can we go to the timetable, please? So these are the dates. I would advise that you take a screenshot of this. For those of you registering, this timetable is also on TDL. So training would commence on the 5th of December from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So essentially, you would complete your training on the 14th of December. So that is your yellow and your blue. And then you've got your work assessment and your work experience starting in 2025. So essentially, you would complete your theory training this year, and then your work experience would commence in the new year, 2025. Does that make sense? Now, for some of you, if this timetable is not favorable, what you can do is perhaps secure the offer, get access to TDL, and then wait till we commence classes on Saturdays in the new year. So in the new year, we would go back to Saturdays and also have an evening class for those of you not able to join Saturdays. Am I clear on that, guys? Does everyone understand? So that Yes, you can. So let's say you finish work late, because I know a lot of you do shift work, right? So with the work experience, for example, a lot of the meetings that are held are in the evenings. And then, of course, the training is based on this timetable. But like I said, if you're looking at some days on here and you know you've got a shift work or you've got an event, remember that every live session that you're going to have is already on TDL. So I'll just mention that. So let's say you're not able to do the 5th or the 6th, the training is already on TDL. Alternatively, I would advise catch up on TDL, during your spare time. Wait till January where you can join the Saturdays or an evening session, okay? But yeah, I think those are the options available at the moment. I hope that's clear. Can you show the screen where the all-inclusive package is? Okay, so we'll go forward to, David, go to the page that has the amount 1,200, please. So for those of you still on, we've completed the session, right? So I'm just staying on for any last minute bits. So 1,200 includes your project management training, your business analysis training, your AI training that we just introduced, project planning training, practical work experience, knowledge sharing sessions that everybody joins, your career coaching for 4 weeks, your mentorship for interviews, your LinkedIn optimization, access to TDL, monthly immigration sessions, the Alumni platform, and referencing. So all of this is included in your package, okay? So what that means is that you're not going to have to pay for anything separate. So anything is included in the package. The timetable shows 1 month. I think you've misunderstood that. So your work experience is for 3 to 4 months, okay? So maybe it's the way that you've interpreted the timetable, but the work experience can never be 1 month. It's not enough time, yeah? So the person that asked me to do this, I'm hoping that you're happy now, we can move forward. So I know it's too good to be true, right? All of this included in your package. And then also being able to select an additional free course in Microsoft Office or UI UX. 429 discounted from 1,200. Black Friday has started. Yes, all of this is for 9 months only. It's for 9 months, yes. So remember I said to you that we give you a 9-month window.